Hi everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about some issues we feel that need more awareness this week. Now understand, we're just going to talk a little bit about them and later we'll talk about them more in depth on other videos. So today we're going to be talking about the deaf protest. So maybe you heard it happened in Washington, D.C. and that was September 5th and the 6th, so it was a little while ago.
Back on the weekend.
Right, but it's still very important to discuss, why did they have this protest, or what was it for? So let's go ahead and describe what it was about.
So the protest was focused on the ADA law, and there's a few issues related to that. The ADA law is more for general disabilities. It doesn't always match the deaf community's needs and what their wants are, so it's more the general. And there's 3 different things that the protests focus on.
Right. The first thing is employment. Now, I know a lot of people think, the economy is really bad and unemployment is really bad, but for deaf and hard of hearing people, it's a lot worse. It's really high. I think the figures are around 75 to 80%, at least what I've seen. And that's unacceptable. There's no reason that deaf and hard of hearing people cannot have a good job. A lot of deaf people are really, really intelligent. They have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, and still they're not able to get a job. And it's really for such insignificant reasons, They say it's communication. Oh, well, we can't hire you because you have communication problems. But it's really not a big deal, even just for menial jobs, And we'll talk about this more later, but I remember there was a vlog. There was a guy that had called a water company, like Mountain Springs or something, and then there was a vlog, a VRS person calling back, leaving a message saying, no, I'm sorry, you can't have this job. It's for a hearing person. Deaf people can't do it. And it was for a driving position, so there's no reason. And that's just really horrible. So employment needs a lot more awareness and to talk about that.
And today, there's email, there's texting, there's a lot of different ways. You don't have to just hear and talk. There's so many other ways to get around it. It's ridiculous.
Definitely. So that's the first thing. The second thing was concerning education. And unfortunately, a lot of deaf education programs, teachers, things like that, they're not up to snuff. And it's unfortunate, I know they have the statistics, I don't know if it's correct anymore, but they say, a large percentage of deaf people graduate with a reading level of like 2nd to 4th grade.
Yeah, anywhere from 2nd to maybe 6th grade, and that's an average. Obviously, it's not all deaf people, but it's an average.
Right, and there's many deaf people who can read and write, like, hello, but, there's many that cannot. And it doesn't matter what kind of program, whether it's a mainstream program, if it's at a deaf school, some of them don't have good education either. And it's so unfortunate because deaf people are intelligent, but if you don't have the opportunity to get a good education, then you can't develop that intelligence, if you don't have the resources. So it's a big challenge. And, that's maybe another factor on the high unemployment rate. If you cannot read and write, then it will be a lot harder to get a job if you cannot communicate.
Right. And one example, I had a good friend who studied for a deaf education. And on the test, she was looking at the book. And one of the resources they said for deaf children is Braille. Those are for blind people to be able to read. I don't see how that's related.
Yeah, nothing.
Imagine, that's in a book for teachers who are educating deaf people. So something's wrong.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's sad. Many teachers, many people who work, with deaf children, not only teachers, but maybe assistants or other staff people, a lot of them don't even know sign language. And if that's what that child depends on, and then all you can do is speak to them, then it's going to be a real struggle for them. So it's another really big issue is education.
And the last one is talking about communication accessibility. A lot of government agencies still depend on TTYs for deaf people to get in contact with them, and that's a really, really old technology from gosh, a long time ago. I mean, almost nobody uses that. It's very rare to see them. Now people use VRS, video phones, that type of visual technology, more video based, but a lot of them don't have capabilities for that, or maybe they don't have the training on how to deal with people calling through VRS, and they think, oh, well, I can't do that. Or, even captioning, like on live news or online. There's no captioning available. So how are deaf people supposed to understand what's going on? So there's a lot of gaps there, and there really needs to be an improvement.
Right, and remember, it's not only for the government, but also, caption. Remember, we made a video before talking about if you make videos, I can put a link up here on how you can caption. So it's really important for that, and it's just sad that, deaf people, they want to watch something, or, what if you said news, something's happening, like a tornado or some sort of disaster, and they don't know what's going on. So that's really sad, and that's why, it'd be really nice to, have, like when they have the interpreter, like with the mayor or something like that, but it's just, it's not enough, there needs to be more exposure for language accessibility.
And so again, really, it's a problem with the ADA because the government's trying to apply that to the deaf community, but they have different needs compared to people with other different physical disabilities and their accessibility problems. Deaf people just can't hear. It's more of a cultural and language minority, and they have different needs, maybe in an interpreter or just more visual accessibility. It's a lot different than most people with more general disabilities. So the ADA just doesn't have the proper protections, proper things set up to match what our needs are. So either needs to be a revision or maybe something new, something specifically for the deaf community.
Yep. And as you can see, these are just 3 issues that were related to the deaf protest, but there's many, many more topics and things to think about. But these are really big challenges, so if you guys have any information or any way that you can help, writing to your senator, writing to, whoever, up in the government, the FCC, and, make sure, your voice is heard. So be aggressive about it and make sure that they know that there needs to be a change. If we don't say anything, how are they going to know what to do? Most of them are already pretty clueless, and they really do need help. They don't understand. So we need your help. You guys need to make sure that there's more accessibility and things for the deaf people. So we will have one more video this week and kind of just a wrap up of Deaf Awareness Week. But remember, so these are just 3 of the issues. There's so many more things that we're going to talk about later, more in depth. We'll talk about each topic more and have more ideas. So if you guys have any requests or anything you want us to talk about, let us know.
Yeah, go ahead and leave a comment, any topic or any concern, whatever you feel that you want us to talk about, related to the deaf community, deaf culture, language, whatever. We're always happy to go ahead and give you our opinion and whatever we can research and find.
Yep, and if you guys have any resources, anything you think would be helpful for any of these issues or anything else, go ahead and leave it as a comment. It's great to have that resources. It helps us and it helps other people too to be able to see that and then share that, and this video, share it. Make sure that people know what's going on. It's Deaf Awareness Week, okay? All right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Right, use the hashtag Deaf Awareness Week in all of your social media. Facebook, Instagram,